All right, so this thing's having a weird issue with dividing. It looks like it's the completely automatic division, automatic divisor alignment system, an exclusive Friden innovation that's not working. But to show what it's doing, typically when you divide, you hit the divisor or the dividend, it enters, and then you enter the divisor or whatever, hit divide, and it will automatically shift the carriage over until it underflows. So on other machines, or like most automatic division machines, if I were to divide like, I don't know, 7,000 by 2, it would just start immediately subtracting and it would take forever. And that's a situation where you have to stop division. The Friden is supposed to shift over till it underflows and then start dividing. But mine is not doing that. Instead, it's going all the way over and then dividing. So it's this weird thing. I'll just get it on video here. It's I got the division tab stop at number 5. I'm gonna do 68. So then entered. I'm gonna do, I don't know, 3. So it went way too far. It's wrapping back around. It might be better to demonstrate this with like a lower one. Like I'm gonna do like 3. Do another small division. 8 divided by 7. And it's gonna go all the way over for no reason. But it does divide. So I wouldn't want to really care about fixing this because it does still actually divide. It just takes longer. But I had to take the carriage or the covers off anyway, so I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. All right, so I think I got this thing working now. So to show what it actually is supposed to do in the division, I've got the 2 tab stop pressed down. I'm gonna do 7 divided by 6. You only shifted the carriage to the left once. So what is it? 1.16. Before I would have hit 7 divided by 6, and it would have shifted all the way over and then shifted back and then started dividing, and eventually I would have gotten that, but it would have taken twice as long. I only messed with a couple things. Most of them were behind and underneath the carriage. I'll point those out here in a few minutes. This should be a pretty short video, though. There wasn't a whole lot that I did to fix this. Like everything I messed with is in like the worst possible spot to get to. Somehow they were like, "Oh, division stuff. Let's put it like right above and behind the motor, so you just can't get to it." But I'm gonna try my best. Some of this I could barely, like, I could sort of see it, and it was like, okay, I hope that's not the problem. One of those things is this right here. So this is the actual throw out actuator. Um, I'm pushing it with my little poker. So above, there's a little arm going off. There, you can see it there. Right here, the this thing. That was the thing I pointed out that goes up to the number 6 actuator. So you can see the back. This disc behind it is the roller. And then all the other actuators, you see the little step drum stuff on, very visible. But I had to install a separate spring, which this took me probably a good hour because it's way back in there. This is an adjustment. I could not loosen that screw, couldn't get this, this eccentric loose either. I think it's a 3/8 nut. But mine was getting stuck either in the up or down position. I think the left spring here is the original spring, but it's just completely lost its springiness to the point where it doesn't do anything. So this is a additional spring I pulled off an old Marchant. I was glad I found that. Wrapped that around, and that's been working properly ever since. Okay, so right to the left of that, there's a pretty long shaft that has this spring on it. So this is like spring loaded. This is a separate spring right here that it's compressing. And on the left side, it's got a little follower on some kind of a cam thing here. You can see that thing move. That was pretty sticky for me. I had to lubricate that. But the issue ended up being with these little arms not delatching. So there's a couple of them right here, and they're both spring-loaded. In my case, the upper one was stuck, so I had to lubricate that. I'm actually having trouble moving the upper one. You can kind of see that there's two of them, sort of. There's a spring right here. I think there's another spring up there. There we go. Now they're moving. So this delatches, releases this thing from being pushed over like this. So it's going to be stuck like this until it gets delatched. This delatching action is what reverses the shifting during division. So I can try to manually do that, I think, without destroying my machine. There's my poker. There we go. This will work. So I'm going to do something that would normally require it to shift over a bunch of times. And I'm going to like kick it out early. So let's see, I'm in the 5 tab stop. I'm going to do some really big number divided by a very small number. And I'm going to have to do this fast. So I'm going to like stick this in there so we can, yep, okay. So I'm going to hit divide here. Basically, as soon as it starts dividing, I'm going to kick this out so it just will start reversing. Okay, so it didn't, yep. You can see that that's delatched, and it is still trying to divide. It's not supposed to be doing that. Hopefully I didn't just like totally destroy this. Let me clear it out. Nope, that looks normal. Okay, so that's what it's supposed to do when it underflows. In my case, it wasn't doing that at all. So that's the thing that releases it. I'm going to try to get as many little slow-mo shots of this thing dividing as I can here, because honestly, this is, I don't know what exactly I did that caused the division to start working again. I'm pretty sure that this was just very stuck in here. I had to get that loose. There were a couple other things, besides replacing the spring over there. This little lever right here, I had completely missed this. I didn't even know it was back here. There's a little spring on it, and it appears to only move when division reaches the end of the carriage somehow, and it still hasn't underflowed. So if it's like it's like a stopgap thing to get it to trip over. But honestly, there's so much back here that I can barely see. I mean, even trying to follow the actuator for the ring down to like where the division mechanism hooks up. There's this thing right here. Mine's kind of loose. I hope that's not a problem. But this is connected up here to the final, I don't even want to transfer thing. The last one on the side. I'm just going to call it that. Right in here. When the underflow happens, this gets pushed inwards, which I'm going to try to do with my poker. There it goes. And then down here is the bell. But trying to get from here to here by following linkages is pretty hard. That being said, I'm going to try to get some shots of this going, and hopefully this helps somebody. I know division with this is a nightmare just from the lack of access and visibility down here.